What's good? What's good? What's good, Chambers family? How y'all doing? First of all, I want to start out by saying hello to my new family members. Welcome to our adventure. And to my old ones, truly miss y'all. Thank y'all for hanging in for with me. So today, I decided to veer away from the homeless story for a little bit. Today, I'm going to talk about bullying and what I overcome, the things that I have overcome growing up and till now. Basically, I want to say, I think the third grade, I was put in special education. So, with that being said, third grade, I was put in education. Special education, I'm sorry. I was put in special education. I went from being able to change classes to being in one class all day. You have to have, what I have learned being in that situation is you have to have thick skin because you have different, different levels of being in that situation. You have the kids that's in regular classes, then you have to deal with those. Then you also have to deal with whatever be thrown at you being in that class. So when I was first put in there, I loved my teacher. I loved her. She was great. She was awesome. But you have to deal with the outside of the kids before you get to school. When you get to school, kids pick at you because you slow and you retarded and that stuff. Being in that situation is hard. It is hard. Days you just don't want to go to school because you're scared of being picked at, or you want to stay home until you able to until it's time to go to class because kids picking on you. You can go home and tell your parents, but how many times they gonna be able to take off from work? Or in my case, how many times you don't want your parents to be at the school all the time for you. So you just deal with the situation. At first it wasn't too bad because we was able to ride the bus with the what they call normal kids or kids that's not in special education. We was able to ride the bus with them, and then it became to the point that it was noticed like you was on the special ed bus. Because you can't go to a certain school because you're in special ed and they don't have it. So, my first school that I was put in special ed was, I don't know if you can say it online. So, it was, I don't know. I don't want to mess up no guidelines. It was in that first school. Then I was able to ride the regular bus. We overcame adversity. I remember. I could be wrong about being in the third grade. I just remember the third grade. I don't know why, but I remember being put in that class in the third grade. And at first it was, it was easy, so to say, until we moved to Clearwater. And the school that we were zoned for was Clearwater Elementary. And they don't carry special education. My brother was able to go, but we wasn't. And so we had to go to a whole nother school, which was up, further away. And that's when the bullying started. For real. That's when you really got to see that kids from my first school was more accepting of the special ed kids, and they didn't pick on them, to moving down in that area, and they picked on them. And that's when we knew about the bullying. Really knew about the bullying. It got a lot more challenging going to that school. It really did. It got a lot more challenging going to school with those kids. So that's when we learned about the special ed bus. They have a special ed bus for them type of kids. And they would pick on you when you get off the bus. Not when you're on the bus, nobody was really, talking. But when you got to school and getting off that bus, oh yeah, that's when you really knew that kids are cruel. That's when you really knew that those type of kids, But how I came through was, I thought positive. Didn't understand it then, but I would tell myself I love myself, and it don't matter who pick at me or whatever comes for me, I can do this. It's not, and it was easy. It started becoming not easy because ain't nothing in life easy. Like, But they, it wasn't nobody there talking about some holding your hand and talking to the kids, and you get tired of, telling the teacher. Either you was going to take up for yourself or you wasn't. And who want to go to school and fight all the time? Who want to fight these kids every day because of their opinion? It was a waste of time. So you just dealt with the good. You just took the good along with the bad. I mean, you gotta be able to cope with anything and everything, because at this point, everything got in your hands. You got to take it, and that's what I did. I developed thick skin, not like I'm gonna go and fight everybody at school, because I knew I had love at home. Undoubtedly, they didn't like the situation or the body they was in. Because you take time out your busy schedule to pick on somebody because they in special education. Something they can't help. And that's when I started realizing everybody that's in regular classes is not smart. Yeah, you can consider yourself smarter than me because I'm in special ed, but what they say about you? Now that I'm old enough to know, like, what does that say about them kids that's taking, I guess you can chalk it up as them being kids. And they want to be popular and want it to last, but what did that get you years? Now what did that get you? Your own family don't want to hang around you because you in that class sometimes. And I went through a lot of that too. You know, my family didn't want to be around me because I was in special ed and stuff like that because we was young, and I can't chalk all that up to being young, but you want to hang with who you want to hang with. You didn't want to be seen with kids in special ed and stuff like that, and that to me that ain't cool. But I digress. At this point, I digress. So that's how some of the stuff up until once I got the 5th grade, we had moved again to Jackson, and we was going to Greendale because no schools down that way took special education kids. Like, you couldn't go to Red Cliff. We couldn't go to Red Cliff because we was in 5th grade, and they didn't have special education. Even up until 5th grade, and when we went to 5th grade, we rode a regular bus because they didn't have the I guess I don't know what they call handicap buses. Excuse me, they didn't have those down there. I don't know for sure, but they didn't have any of those. And so we wound up going to Greendale and New Ellison. So, and then once I don't even remember having a graduation. That's how serious it was. It wasn't even a 5th grade graduation. Not for kids in special ed, there wasn't. So once we left that school, we went to Jackson Middle. Oh yeah, once I got to Jackson Middle, that's when life started to slightly change. I had a teacher. She was phenomenal. I still remember her name, Miss Cardosa. She was phenomenal. When I say about my 6th grade year, she was a complete special ed teacher. Complete. Like, she was teaching she was teaching us, and then when she started realizing, like, I had potential to had the potential to be able to come out that class, she would teach me other stuff that didn't have nothing to do with, and that's when I started learning about positive and negative, and that's when I started learning about having a positive attitude and a negative attitude. That's what I want to say. That's when we started learning about positivity and stuff like that. Like, she started taking us out of our comfort zone. They weren't teaching like all the other teachers was teaching, and she was teaching us, like, she was like, okay, if I see the potential, I'll take you, where you need to be. Like, by the time you get out of middle school, you won't be in special ed at all. You'll have some, what they call resource classes. I fix it where if that's what you want to do and you're going to continue to do what you're supposed to do, and I'll help you. And by that time, the picking was still going on, but still at the same time, I had something to look forward to. That's when I learned, it ain't nothing gonna be handed to you. There's nothing gonna be handed to you. Nothing. And so when we did IEPs, she would basically, like, when she did the IEPs, it was like she did it different. Um, and I went through stuff at home, but still I didn't let whatever going on at home follow me to school, and just kept positive. I just want to keep positive. I just want to think positive. Not being in denial, but think positive. Like, I can do anything. My skies is the limit for me right now. So whatever she taught me at school, I will remember when I get home, and every night I would do my homework. My mom would help, but she'd be like, the work a little harder than what it usually be. But I never said anything about what Miss Cardoso was doing, because I felt like that was our secret. She'll tell them one thing but do another one in school, which I was okay with, because I felt like she was trying to help me, genuinely help me. She was helping me. She was genuinely helping me, like trying to help me get out of special education. I never told my mama. I never told her, because I felt like that was me and Miss Cardoso's secret. And if she did, I felt like my mama was going to do something to put me back in there. So, I'm not saying that she would have, but at that same time, I just felt like she put me in there. So, and it might have not been that. It just my outlook. But she took time with me. She taught me stuff. And then the next year, Miss Cardoso was taken out of special ed. I mean, she wasn't taken out of special ed. She was a resource teacher. They made her a resource teacher and put somebody else in her spot to teach special education. I don't know what happened that she was taken from special education to put in resource. So that's when she started taking me out that special ed class, and she started putting me in like resource. Like, I was in a resource setting. Like, okay, I go to one class and then I go to her, and she'll teach me. Like, she'll break it down for me. If I don't get it in that class, she tell me, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't give up. Don't worry about it. That's when you come to me. And then when you come to me, I break it down to you where you will understand. And she did that. She did a phenomenal job. Like, for real. Like, and then when I got into 8th grade, my first day, that's when I found out we was moving to Clearwater. Biggest mistake of my mom and them life. In mine. She shouldn't have never moved down there. Because once I was taken out of Jackson Middle and went to Clearwater, it was like I was put right back into special education. I don't know if they didn't take all the paperwork from Jackson Middle or what. I don't understand still to the day on how I got put back in special ed completely. Like, how? I've been a year I went through and I was in resource. How you take a child from being in resource and putting them right back in special education? So, I don't know. All I know, I was back in that special ed situation. And I went through my whole 8th grade year in special ed. And that's when it got worse. I hated LBC. I hated everything about it. I hated getting up in the morning. I hated going in there. I just didn't look forward to it. Because you took me, I've been in that area before. I know what that area about. I know what kind of kids down there. And you took me from somewhere that I love to help I get it. You whatever you was going down there to do, and put us in this back in this town that I don't like. I don't like the schooling. I don't like the people. At this point, I don't like none of the people down there. I don't. I didn't, because I grew up around that. They was bullying, picking, calling you retarded, calling you slow. That area was horrible the first time we went down there, and I'm telling you this. Then when you go to the high school, oh my God, that's even worse. That's when my 9th grade year, I breezed through my 9th grade year. Breezed like straight A's. When I went to my 9th grade year, I made straight A's. Straight A's. My 10th grade year, oh yeah, that's when questions started coming. And then they asking us questions, like, they asking us to ask them questions. So I was like, okay, when we graduate out of high school, do we get a high school diploma like the regular kids, or do we, what do we get? And the teacher was like, y'all don't get no high school diploma. Y'all ain't get, when y'all graduate, y'all gonna get a piece of paper stating y'all have completed the 12th grade year. Y'all have completed 12th grade. We go to school just like they do. We do work all day just like they do. They have us doing gym, and if those that don't want to take gym, they take NJROTC. And you telling me we come to school every day and we don't get nothing? Because at this point, that paper means nothing to me. And she said, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. And I was like, well, what I'm doing here? I don't want to be here. At this point, I don't want to be here. We good enough to do everything everybody else doing, but we can't get a high school diploma. And even if you weren't going to give us a high school diploma, I felt like, okay, we should get something, at least a GED. No, you're not even getting that. You're going to get a paper stating that you have completed the 12th grade. That's it. You can't go to college on that. You can get no, you can't even get a trade on that. You can't even go to cosmetology school with that. You can't go to Aiken Tech because you got a certificate of completion. So that means you got to go do more schooling to be able to do something different. At this point, I got to the point I didn't want to go to school. And for the longest, I didn't. I didn't go. And my daddy just was like, one day he was like, you're not going to be riding up and down the road and doing what you want to do and not going to school. You going to school. So they re-enrolled me into Midland Valley again. I was made to go back. I didn't want to go back, but I was made to go back. And when I went back, they started having these programs where you work. They teach you how to get jobs. So I started working at the school. Yeah, you get picked at. I'm not going to overlook that. You get picked at. They pick on you for everything that you do. You got to work 10 times harder going to school. And then my senior year, I was able to take. I also my 10th grade year, I took Scope. Scope is a program that they had at Midland Valley. They tried at Midland Valley first. And scope, you could take cosmetology or I think engineering. I think that's where they fix cars. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong in the program, but we took scope. It was a couple girls that took cosmetology. A couple of us took engineering. It is, I think it is engineering. The engineering program. So they let us go. We went there in the afternoons after all the classes was done and over with. We went, I want to say after school. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was after school. We went for a couple of hours. We started there. And it's a lot of fields you would have to go through before you can even get to cosmetology, to be able to go in there physically. That's the crazy part. So by me being in the 10th grade, a lot of kids was taking cosmetology their 11th grade. So with that being said, I took scope. I did that. Then I went, Trina was the best thing that's ever stepped in my life at the career center. She was the best thing that ever stepped in my life. She was God sent. She said, you know, me and her used to talk all the time. She'd be like, I can tell you have an eye for cosmetology. I know you love it. You know, if I had a wand, I would, you know, help you and just fix it where you could come, you know, to cosmetology school. She said, but there's nothing, a lot of stuff that you going through is nothing that I can do physically. She said, but I wish they would have started the scope program when you was in the, because I got kept back. I ain't gonna lie, I got kept back in the 10th grade. I did because I didn't want to go to school. But I went my first 10th grade year. I mean, my second 10th grade year. That's when they was trying to open up programs because a lot of kids didn't want to come to school because you're not giving me anything. We just going to school for nothing. We just here. We just holding spots. We being babysitted. So once time, excuse me, as time progressed and I started realizing, you know, it ain't that bad. Because Trina was in my life. And she told me, don't give up. Don't give up. And I never gave up because of her. Because of Miss Trina Greenwood. She was always, and Mr. Wade. Mr. Wade, he was another God sent. He helped with a lot. Like, for real. They was my guardian angels, like, for real. They really, really helped me keep my head on straight. They also helped me conquer and overcome some of the things, you know, that we went through. And you have to deal with these teachers at Midland Valley. You don't want to deal with it. One of the teachers cussed at me. Child, I just was over that school. But without that school, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I can't complain too much because a lot of the programs came through that school first. So I did get through scope, and then I went to STEP. STEP is the program that you go through when you in special ed, and you take a class where you do different things and learn life skills and make lamps and stupid stuff like that. It ain't got nothing to do with cosmetology. It ain't got nothing to do with but you got to go through that program. But you also could go to the cosmetology class too. So, and then I was Um, that year I was a senior, so it was like, dang, scope. And then, in Carolina you couldn't go to school after 21, so I would have been able to do 1 year at the cosmetology school, but I couldn't do two. You got to go to cosmetology school for 2 years back then. So it was like, everything that could be against you was against you. So it's like nobody, I did do the interview for the cosmetology program because I was already in scope, and I was gonna go back to school. Like, you could go to school up to you 21, and then you just sit in the classroom, and when it's time to go to cosmetology school, you just go from there. But it didn't work out, so I wound up not doing it. So with that being said, I just stopped and started my next once I graduated, and what I did was I was asking questions. Like I said, you don't learn nothing until you ask questions. That's what it's about. So that's when we started asking around and asking what the state. Me and my mama, we started working together, and we were asking around, and we like, what is state of credit? Like, in the state of Carolina, South Carolina, like, what is state of credit? What would they consider to be state of credit? And they said anything that you take, anything you go to school for, and you take in front of someone, that's considered to be state of credit. So my auntie had went to Christian Kingdom Academy, not Christian Kingdom Academy. I mean, what's the name of that school? Cornerstone. And they said Cornerstone wasn't considered to be state of credit. So they said that you would have to take the test in front of somebody. So we looked, and that's when we found Christian Kingdom Academy. And my mama was asking them all kind of questions and asking them, was they accredited? Was their accreditation, was their school credited through the state of South Carolina? They said yeah. And they said that we would have to go to school in person. So basically, I just knew that the school was accredited. So I wound up going back to school and going to school and doing what I needed to do, and graduated. I graduated. I had a formal graduation and everything. I had my cap and my gown. I graduated not once. But I wound up going back and graduating twice, where I had a cap and a gown and all that stuff. And then when I went to go register for cosmetology school at Kennesula, they told me my diploma wasn't accredited. Dude, that just told my soul out my chest. Like, I said I did all this because they said as long as you take a test in front of somebody, they consider that to be accredited. It's an accredited school. But come to find out it wasn't. So I didn't get, so I kind of gave up for a long time. I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want, like, I just gave up. I did. And even though Um, I was always told not to. I did. So with that being said, um, if you in my shoes and you ever been through what I've been through, I know there's a lot of kids out there going through it. Don't give up. Don't do the same things I did. I was young, and it seemed like no matter what obstacle I came to, it seemed like I was getting knocked down. So my advice to y'all would be, don't give up. Uh and keep going, keep pushing. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. I know it's bullies out there. I know it's hard. I know it. You might just feel like giving up. Don't give up. Keep the faith. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let nobody make you feel belittled. Don't let nobody come in your life and take your joy away, because nobody can't steal your joy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. I don't care who it is. Because we are not all the same. We are not, we all don't learn the same. We all don't, that don't make you slow, that don't make you stupid, that don't make you retarded. That just make you your own individual. You are your own person. Because those obstacles is what make you who you are today. And don't give up, because how everybody else feel about you, it doesn't matter, because they not perfect. And so it's gonna be more it's gonna be more talks on this matter, but that's what made me who I am today. That's how I overcame all them years of school. And if y'all have something to say, or y'all want to say something, leave a comment in the comment section. I'm open. If there's more that y'all want to hear, just leave a comment. I definitely will get back to you. I definitely will talk to you, whatever you going through. If anybody going through what I've been through, I motivate you. Just don't give up, because being on this real journey, it shows in open doors and open eyes, and kids that's in special ed, y'all don't have to give up. Don't let that define who you is. You're not that person. You're not special ed. You're not going to be special ed all your life. So with that being said, until next time, y'all, peace, one love.